Welcome to Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, back again with another episode, y'all. In this episode, I want to talk about something that happened this past weekend, right on the 15th of January. The Alabama shooting down there that took the life of that young lady, that young mother, that young daughter. Um, I want to talk about that, man. I'm going to tell you, let me give you the background on that first before we get into it. But this young man named Darius Miles, right? He was 21 years old, and another guy named Michael Davis, 20 years old, out of Charles County, Maryland. They were both charged with capital murder after they got into an incident with this young lady. Basically, Darius Miles had asked her, he was trying to talk to her, right? Push up on her, and she rejected him. And so it resulted in Darius Miles giving the other guy, apparently according to the reports anyway, a handgun, and he shot into the car, ended up killing this young lady, right? This young lady's name was Jamia Harris, right? She was a young mother, a daughter, and it's just a tragic and senseless thing that happened to her. And I think right now what they are doing is the appropriate thing to do. He's been dismissed from the team. Apparently, he was already in the process of being dismissed from the team for injuries and other things, personal matters going on, stuff like that. But it struck me uh, when I heard him saying, as he was being taken to the police car, it's reported that he was yelling and talking to his moms, and I know she's going through it. He was telling her that he loves her more than she can imagine. And later on, I saw another report where the mother of Miss Harris, Jamia Harris, she said that that angered her. If I'm using the right word, I don't know if it was anger or whatever, but it really upset her to hear him say that he loved the person that he was yelling at, presumably his mom, more than she can imagine, when he had taken her daughter, a mother herself, uh, away from everybody by shooting in the car or giving the gun to the other guy to shoot in the car. And it really struck me uh, as to how we sometimes define love, right? Now, I want you, I'm gonna lay out a foundation for you real quick here. You know, um, when you've been broken, right? And if you're not aware that you've been broken, but if you suffered some kind of trauma, and don't get it twisted, y'all. I'm not giving you this, I'm not laying this out to provide any kind of excuse for what he did. He chose to do that, whether he handed the gun to that guy or not, or pulled the trigger himself. He made a conscious decision to do that, right? As conscious as he can be, right? When you're broken, right? The decisions that you make from a broken place are not conscious decisions in the sense that you understand really what's going on, right? You know what I mean? So anyway, he made this decision to do this. He made the decision of his own accord. Yet when he was going to the police car, he's talking about how he loved his moms more than she could imagine. Coming from that place of brokenness, I'm not sure if he really understands what love is. It took me a while to understand it. I know without a shadow of a doubt, when I was a child, I loved my mother. I still love my mother, even though she's not with us anymore. I still love her. When she died, I was a kid, but I still love her. I miss her all the time. So I understand that pain. But when you're broken, your understanding of things like love and honor and trust and loyalty, all of those types of things, it becomes skewed. And a lot of people don't want to accept that. They think that you can go through whatever you go through, and the understanding and the definition that you're going to come away with is the same definition that they have when you speak about certain things. And when I heard this young man talk about love, what struck me in the place that I am today mentally is that that brother don't understand what love is. Now, he's going to have a lot of time to figure it out, but he doesn't understand what love is. You read the dictionary. Let me get this dictionary over here, y'all. Let me get this dictionary. You read the dictionary. The first definition of love is an intense affection for another person based on personal or familial ties, right? That means family ties, okay? Then it goes on to say a strong affection for or attachment to another person based on regard or shared experiences or interests, right? Now, when I read those definitions, and there's several other definitions, when I read those definitions, I think about the family ties that I have, the love that I have for my family, right? The people that I really care about in my life. I wouldn't want to do anything, my girlfriend. I wouldn't want to do anything to embarrass them or hurt them, right? Now try to follow me here. And in doing that, I'm expressing my love for them, right? I'm expressing my love for them. And if I go out and do something, right, I'm not expressing, do something wrong, do something that's not proper to do. Adultery, kill somebody, I went from A to Z, all right? Any of those things that's going to cause them hurt and embarrassment and shame, I'm not expressing my love for them. Now, I can say what I want to say. I can tell them whatever I want to tell them. But I'm not expressing love for them. I'm expressing the opposite for them. You know what I'm saying? How can you love somebody and do anything to hurt them? See, we take this idea of doing something directly to them is what we shouldn't be doing. Like, for example, his mom. He didn't do anything physically to his mom. See what I'm saying? He did something to somebody else and it caused his mom hurt. In that, I submit to you that he's not expressing the love for his mom. Right? Doesn't mean he doesn't love his mom. It means he's not expressing it towards her. And when you do that in the proper way, it'll keep you in check. It gives you that accountability. If you say you love somebody, then you're accountable to them. You're accountable to them. You're accountable to them. And if you're a believer, God says what? If you love him, what? Keep his commandments. Right? That's how you express love for him. You can't express love for him by doing all of the things opposite of the commandments. You're not expressing it. You can say that you love him, but you're not showing it. You can say that you love your mama, but you're not showing her. I did the same thing. Don't get me twisted now. I'm not trying to criticize this brother because I am guilty of it too. I'm in prison, been here for a long time. I did it too. I brought shame to my family in ways that I never even could calculate because I was not seeing the expression of love in that way. I didn't see it like that. I didn't see it like that. And I think that's where a lot of us get it wrong when we think about it. Well, why did he do it? He got rejected by this girl. It hurt his feelings. He didn't know how to cope. So he either shot the gun or he gave the gun to somebody else and didn't stop them from shooting. And that's how he coped with that pain. He did not learn a coping mechanism that would allow him to see clearly, because when you go through something like that, I'm telling you, trust me, y'all, you'll be in a fog. And what you're doing, it makes sense, but then you know it don't make sense. But you do it anyway. And sometimes it happens so fast that before you know it, it's over. And you were like, dang, what did I do? Now you got to go into protect mode, defense mode. Start lying and doing all of the things that going to protect you and keep you from being in harm's way, but it's going to harm everybody else around you because you're going to continue to be hurting them because you're lying and being deceitful. And you're digging a hole for yourself that some people don't recover from. because they don't know how to forgive themselves. And that's the situation that that young brother might be facing, both of them. They might not even know how to go about forgiving themselves for what they did so they can move forward, whether they're in prison or out, and be productive individuals. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to explain. That's what I wanted. That's why I wanted to do this episode, because we constantly use this word love in a way that it just doesn't make any sense to me. If you love somebody, you're going to do things to honor them, right? Respect them, not embarrass them. That's what I'm talking about. But most people don't see it like that. Not to say that they wouldn't understand what I'm saying. I just don't think it's been put to them in this way. When you love somebody, you're accountable to them. You're accountable. Love, true love, the true essence of love is about accountability to that person that you love. You're going to do everything you can to make their life better, happier, and without pain and hurt. Within your power. Within your power. Things that you can't control, you can't control. But within your power, within your scope, you're not going to do anything to hurt them, directly or indirectly. But that's just not what we, or how we see love. You say, I love her, or I love him. You go get them some roses, a box of chocolates, or some power tools, whatever the case may be, but you can't wait to get down here to the hotel to whoever you're trying to go see. Or you say, I love them, and you go get them some chocolates or some power dribs, whatever. You go get your mama something on Mother's Day, your daddy something on Father's Day, but then the rest of the week you down on the corner selling drugs. But you love them, your kids, your girlfriend or your wife. But you out doing all of these things in the streets that's bringing hurt to them. What I submit to you is that that's not love. I'm not saying that you don't love them. I'm saying that you're not expressing it the correct way. It's not just about sex, man, getting some tail. It's not what it's just about. And that's what I want to emphasize about this. I know why he did what he did. His feelings got hurt. His feelings got hurt. He didn't know how to deal with that. He didn't know how to deal with it. So he wanted to fight fire with fire. He wanted to hit back. He wanted his lick back. But he elevated it to a level that he didn't calculate what was going to happen. Shoot into a car. You didn't think you were going to hit anybody? Maybe he didn't intend to hit anybody. But that's what happens when you do stuff like that. You can't control no bullet. Just shooting. And don't get me wrong, I believe that young brother is sorry. I believe both of them. They're regretting what they did today. Waking up in that jail, back already hurting, sleeping on that bunk, eating that nasty food. But that is nothing compared to the pain that that mother of that young lady is feeling, that little boy that they haven't even told why his mother's not home yet. When I heard the mother of Miss Harris say that she hasn't even told her grandson why, oh, that broke me, man. I had to turn away from the TV. And it made me think about my victims. I'm going to just keep it real. It made me think about them. And that's hard. That's hard. So it's about being accountable, y'all. It's about being accountable. If you don't care nothing about your neighbor, if you don't care nothing about anybody in your neighborhood, you don't care nothing about people halfway around the world, whatever the case may be, okay, cool, whatever, right? But if you got anybody in your life that you love, anybody in your life that you say you love, then honor them. Be accountable to them in the right way. And don't cause any harm to your neighbor, anybody in the neighborhood, or anybody anywhere at any time. And if you have a problem where you can't figure out the right course of action in the event of something happening, you being rejected, being hurt, whatever the case may be, then ask somebody for help before you go putting a gun in your hand and then shooting somebody. Or before you go out there on the corner and sell drugs. Before you do anything that's going to hurt somebody else, ask somebody for help. Give yourself a chance. Go to those people that you say you love. I'm telling you, if they love you, and I'm sure they do, they'll help you. They'll help you. But don't go out there hurting nobody. It's not what it is, y'all. Gonna be sitting in prison like me, 30 plus years, looking silly. I'm telling you now. I'm telling you. Folks ain't playing now. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.